Well, that official dummy known as Gavin Newsom in California signed an executive order. After the president signed the Congressional Review Act's legislation, which you noticed California made that big pomp and circumstance that they were going to sue and do all this stuff, and then they found out, yeah, you can't sue. There's nothing, you can't do anything. Like there's nothing you can do here. Gavin Newsom has gone out and signed some executive orders, which are, I'm going to tell you now, meaningless. They do nothing. An executive order signed by a governor in California is not going to supersede federal law, period, full stop. So welcome on back to TK's Garage. We're going to get into this here. I'll put the first image up here. This shows Gavin Newsom surrounded by a bunch of other dummies. Look at that one guy in the back. Like, no, absolutely not. Stupid. So he signed this executive order. We'll go over it, and I'll throw the images up here as we're going. Executive Department, State of California, Executive Order N27-25. Whereas in 1967, Governor Ronald Reagan established the California Air Resource Board, committing California to aggressively address the serious issue of air pollution in the state, including from vehicle tailpipe emissions. And whereas for more than 50 years, California has worked closely with the auto industry and other stakeholders to adopt new vehicle standards that are feasible, cost-effective, and significantly reduce harmful air pollution. And whereas reducing air pollution from transportation, including toxic air pollutants, help protect health of Californians, reduce premature death, illness, hospital visits, healthcare costs, and school and work absenteeism, in addition to addressing a changing climate that is threatening the health and safety of Californians in unprecedented ways and costing the state more than $16 billion a year from disasters like drought and wildfire. Actually, I think that part falls on the governor too, but we'll get to that. Whereas zero-emission vehicle technologies and equipment needed to reduce transportation pollution are experiencing significant global demand. Stop talking about China. Making American manufacturers' investment in these technologies are critical to the nation's global market competitiveness. We're talking about California. Stop talking about the country. You haven't learned already. You've been checked for this. And whereas on September 23rd, 2020, I issued Executive Order N7920, establishing, among other things, goals for the state to have 100% of in-state sales of new passenger cars and trucks to be zero emission by 2035. 100% of medium and heavy-duty vehicles be zero emission by 2045 for all operators where feasible, and by 2035 for drayage trucks. And whereas in 2022, I signed into law Assembly Bill 1279, Chapter 337, Statutes of 2022, which established the policy of the state to achieve carbon neutrality as soon as possible, but no later than 2045. Good luck with that. Whereas California has enacted a suite of policies and standards advancing zero-emission technologies to reduce emissions of both smog-forming toxic pollutants and greenhouse gases. And we got a lot of whereases in here, okay? Need to wear his ass out. Whereas California has enacted a suite of advancing zero-emission technologies in vehicles to reduce emissions of both smog-forming toxic pollutants and greenhouse gases. All right, whatever. California Advanced Clean Cars, they go into a bunch of different things here, but he goes through a bunch of whereases, all right? Whereas California's, this is where it is important though. Whereas California's authority was again subject to illegal actions by the current Environmental Protection Agency under the Trump administration that resulted in the U.S. Congress and President Trump purporting to disapprove the waivers of federal preemption California was granted under the Clean Air Act for California's Advanced Clean Cars 2, Advanced Clean Trucks, and heavy-duty omnibus regulations. They announced that he was intending to sue, but they're not going to sue now. That's what this executive order is, from what they said. It is hereby ordered, this is the part that's important. It is hereby ordered that the state of California reaffirms its commitment to accelerate the deployment of zero-emission technologies, including passenger, media, heavy-duty vehicles, consistent with the deployment targets and other actions directed in Executive Order N79-20, to the extent consistent with state law and other legal requirements. 2, the California Air Resource Board shall develop and propose an advanced Clean Cars 3 regulation consistent with state and federal law that reduces greenhouse gas criteria, air pollutant, and toxic emissions from passenger cars and light-duty trucks, medium and heavy-duty vehicles to advance progress towards the development of clean air vehicles and technologies in the state, as an additional measure to build on existing regulations or as an alternative measure for deployment if the federal disapprovals of the Advanced Clean Car 2 are not invalidated in court. So what does this mean? We already knew that they had this Advanced Clean Cars 2 directive, right? And now they've signed this, he signed this executive order, which I'm going to be honest, it's meaningless. It means nothing. They can direct the California Air Resource Board to do whatever the hell he wants. But even as he admits in this executive order, they have to follow federal law. The feds are not going to give them any movement here. Nothing. Zero. And there's even talk now with other states like trying to buck this trend with the CRAs of completely repealing the Clean Air Act itself. Now, it says at the end here, I further direct that as soon as hereafter possible, the order be filed in the Office of Secretary of State and that widespread publicity and notice be given of this order. This order is not intended to, does not create any rights, benefits, substantive or procedural, enforceable at law or in equity against the state, California, its agencies, department, entity, officers, employees, and person. Basically saying this executive order is not worth the paper that it's written on. Gavin Newsom has to be the most inept politician I've ever seen. The dude is literally the DJ Khaled meme of congratulations, you played yourself. That's exactly what this guy is. You can't make this up, the level of stupidity that this guy has. So now they're going to try for this California Clean Cars, 3. They're not going to be able to do anything outside of the state of California, and they can't do anything in the state of California that supersedes federal law. So I've seen all the other people that would be like, oh, smog checks aren't going away. This ain't going to happen. This ain't wrong. The feds are setting the guidelines on what is acceptable, what can be done in the state. Period. Now, I've seen some other things. Someone was like, oh, there's these other YouTubers are like calling smog shops every week. Cool, do that. We already said we're going to be having an interview with one of the largest, one that has over 18 locations in just the Los Angeles area alone that they own, and some of the stuff that's coming. So you notice in that executive order, they said that they will do this, or they're literally telling you the scam that they're trying to run on their citizens in California. It was like, we're going to institute this new Clean Cars 3 thing, or whatever we need to do to help the citizens and health and blah, 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 blah. They're setting it up to be like, okay, we can't do tailpipe emissions, but you know what we can regulate, which Lee Zeldin's already said that's not going to happen, but they are going to try it. Brake dust. That they're going to come after, they're going to do something else because they have no other wins. Now, the other thing that they're doing, which is going to hurt internal combustion engine cars in California is what they're pushing out with these refineries, right? Making it almost impossible to create gasoline with the blends and all of that other crap. And I've heard you guys asking about that. And Lee Zeldin actually addressed that in comments on Twitter, going back or X, going back and forth with, I believe it was a state representative from California on X, where he basically said, yeah, no, all of that special blends and all that crap for California, gone. They're not going to be able to do that crap either. But any savings you would have saved, any money that you would have saved in that, with that coming down, is going to be a wash. And the reason why it's going to be a wash is because California is raising that gas tax by almost 70 cents on July 1st. So, I was trying to be optimistic, and I was saying, hey, it's going to be like $6 gas on a regular. And not just, some of you guys in the comments, but even state representatives and stuff have DM'd me directly and sent me emails and stuff where they said, hey, no, we're looking at $8 gas, maybe $10 gas before the winter. And I'm just like, whoa. So they know they can't make you buy an electric car, but what they're going to try to do is make gasoline so expensive, and they're going to try to do this crap with brake pads where it's so expensive that you want to buy an electric car. They're doing it by proxy. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you like what I do. If you care about electric cars, we're giving one away here on the channel. You can win a Tesla Model S. Comes with free supercharging for life and full self-driving, already enabled, paid for, all of that stuff. It's very simple to win. Go to tksgarage.com, pick up any piece of merch you want. You can also see the merch below this video here. You can click on any of that. And every dollar spent counts as one entry into the Tesla Model S giveaway. Good luck. I have a couple more videos on that specifically coming soon. We're going to do a walk around of the car, show you some of the features, some of the stuff that it does. And then we're going to have a thing coming up here in the near future with like 10x entries on a specific piece of merch that is going to be limited in production. So stay tuned for that. But again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you like what I do. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And as always, stay petty, my friends.
For the longest time, whoa, for the longest.
Yo, Percocet, Miley Percocet, Percocet.